Ukrainians in the occupied territories go through inhuman trials. The Russian military is committing more and more brutal human rights violations there, Human Rights Watch researchers say in the new report. They spoke with residents of 14 settlements in the south of Ukraine by phone and in person, documenting new cases of violence and repressions by the Russian invaders.
Electric current was used everywhere and always, including brutal beatings. In one case, a baseball bat and rubber truncheons were used. People's ribs were broken, teeth also. They were handcuffed, blindfolded. For example, the hood of a jacket or the hood of a hoodie was lowered over their faces and tied with tape.
People had very little food, no medical care was provided for the seriously wounded, and several categories of the population who were illegally detained or kidnapped were subjected to such tortures at once.
These are acting of former government officials. These are former participants in the anti-terrorist operation or joint forces operations. These are volunteers, human rights activists, civil activists.
Moreover, the researchers described the abuse of 3 members of the territorial defense units who were prisoners of war. 2 of them were killed.
The further the repression intensifies, the more random people fall under this roller, so to speak. We also had cases where people were simply detained for nothing. For example, one person went out to buy bread. Another person was just a farmer who wasn't a member of the territorial defense unit. It is very important when we talk about the Kherson region. These are the Crimean Tatars as a separate group that are being persecuted by the Russian Federation. Crimean Tatars are immediately arrested and accused of involvement in the battalion of Noman Chilibidji-Khan, who after the start of a full-scale invasion was criminalized in Russia and was called as a terrorist organization.
In almost all cases, the families of detainees are not told where their relatives are being held. According to human rights activists, the purpose of such crimes by the Russian military is to obtain information and instill fear so that people accept occupation.
The first and main goal is to suppress resistance, to establish an authoritarian regime, and to make them see and obey one point of view. The second is to make those who have experience in administrative work, in management, work for the government by suppressing resistance.
As a result of the occupation, the exact number of abductions cannot yet be established, but according to Human Rights Watch representatives, at least 600 people have disappeared since February 2022 in the Kherson region.
All these facts of crimes must be entered into the unified register of pre-trial investigations by the Ukrainian side, and more than 23,000 such evidence of a crime that are the basis for the investigation of criminal offenses have already been recorded.
In future, these crimes of the Russian occupiers will be investigated not only by Ukrainian law enforcement agencies, but also by the International Criminal Court, the Commission of Inquiry established by the UN Human Rights Council, the European Court of Human Rights, on the principle of universal jurisdiction. Reported by Roman Smoler, Natalia Voloshina, UATV News.